Hello and welcome to my demonstration of a processing application. My name is Sean McGee and this demonstration is for the mobile authoring module of the Multimedia Web Development Year 4 course in DKIT. This particular application is going to run a processing app inside a processing Java window. We can see the basic file structure is set up with the main class and file as mobile text CA1. This includes all our imported libraries, all our declared variables, our setup and draw methods. We then have a content file, and this holds the content that will be drawn within specific content windows that are going to generate what seem like page views for the user while they're interacting with the application. We have a template file which hosts the main structural elements of the application, such as the navigation and the header and the main elements that stay within the application no matter what part of the application you're using. We also have a button class which allows us to generate numerous amounts of button objects and complete actions depending on how the user interacts with the particular object. We also have a class of slideshow. This allows us to create dynamic slideshows with varying amounts of imagery used within them. So I'm going to go ahead and run our Java processing application in the processing window. Okay, so as the application loads up, we can see that there is a main animation that plays in the header of the application. This particular animation has a number of different elements to it, including the title bar of the institute moving from left to right, the bird at the center of the logo coming in an arc-shaped form from the center of the screen and growing as it gets closer to the title and flying into its own window, and then a circular reveal of the text that surrounds the bird. We also then see the appearing of the main name of the application. This particular animation is triggered every time we change the view on the application. So if we interact with the navigation at the bottom of the page in any way, it will trigger that particular animation to run. So I'm going to give you a quick look at what it does again. That particular header will be shown on each of the various views that we're going to have a look at now. The general layout of the application is fairly simple. It follows a header, a content window which at the minute is showing a sliding slide view, and then a content window which generally takes text or some graphic input. On the home page we're met with this slider, this image slider, which transitions a multiple array of images in a smooth right to left type transition. It is on a continuous loop and will run continuously while the application is in play. We can also see from this front page that we have two very distinct fonts at play. That is because I have loaded in two different font styles into the application: Chalk Duster, which is the main heading, and Calbrera, which is the main text used throughout the majority of the site. There is also two very distinct colours at play within the whole of the site. This particular grey colour, which is used for the base of the navigation and the text, and this strong blue colour which ties into the institute logo and the name of the application, as well as a number of the buttons and highlights that are in place. So on this front page we see our slider and we have our text. We also have an audio component which is being used within the site. This is a promo of the course itself. We can trigger this by interacting with the play button and stop it by interacting with the stop button. This will be the first indication of how our navigation and buttons work within the site. All the buttons are various different instances of the same object and all have varying or very similar characteristics. So when we hover over it, we can see a state change of the button, and that happens with all the particular buttons. And we can see that I have set, for continuity purposes, the hover to be the same shade in all of our buttons throughout the site. Although by using the button class that we've defined, we can change that depending on what button we want to use at any particular time. So I'm going to play our audio.
In a cutting-edge Ireland, you need a cutting-edge degree.
In an ever-evolving workplace, you need to be flexible.
Be cutting-edge.
Be flexible.
Be creative.
Be technical.
Be ready to learn how with an honours degree in multimedia web development from DKIT.
And I'm going to stop our
Learn
audio.
for life.
Okay, so that's the play and stop of the audio. Next, we move on to look at our actual navigational section. So this navigational section is made up of 4 main buttons which take us to different views within the site. The view that we're viewing at and is active at the minute is a solid blue colour, while the rest will stay that solid grey colour. When we hover over any of the particular elements, they have a state change for that particular interaction. So we're going to move on to our second page, which is more information about our program. You will note on use of any of the navigational buttons at the bottom of the screen, there is a sound generated, a swoosh sound, to indicate that you have interacted with that particular button. Once again, our animation at the top triggered. On this particular page in our content window, we have a video. Currently, this particular element is not a video, it's a static image. And this static image stays in place until the video is interacted with and then is replaced by the actual video. So we see that we have some control buttons here that allow us to interact with the video itself. And we also have a title bar, which will show the actual duration and the current state of the video as it's been played. So I'm going to go ahead and load our video. Alright, as the video is about to end, I'm going to show you the interaction with the pause button. We can pause it, start it up again, pause it, and now how about stop it, and that stops the video. And if we play it again now, as you'll see, it starts from the start again. So I'm going to stop that, and it resets itself to 0. we have some textual indication as to what is happening within the course and the specific entry requirements that are needed for the course, and some general information about the course itself. So if we move on to our next view, once again we have that swish sound. We're presented with a new content window. This time the content window is interactive in that it allows us to change how we see the content that is displayed in the window. At the minute, the default view is for to load a static image, but if we interact with the buttons, we can see that we're given an indication as to what happens within the course in a specific year. So we can change that view as we go through. Once we get rid of the static image, that image does not appear until we move away from this particular view. Then it's reloaded as the default setting for this view. The animation that we're seeing taking place down here at the bottom is a combination of some tinting and some scaling of various different items set on a timer. So we changed the active view of this particular set of elements, and they increase in size, and while one is increased in size and highlighted, the rest are using a tinted feature grayed out and then also scaled down to show that one of the items is active. As that item is active, the text that is associated with that item is also shown. So for this particular animation, we're looking at 3 very different career streams that is possible to achieve by completing the course: a web developer, a webmaster, and a web designer. And as we cycle through each of the 3 animations, the title and some text about that particular job appear. So when we move on to our final screen is fairly similar to our home screen in that the content window has a sliding image. The reason that I put 2 slider images in was to show how it was built as an object to allow for multiple instances of that object to be called, whereas the first slider had only 3 particular images in it. This slider has 6 images in it, and it's to show that the slider can be used to create multiple instances of sliders with however many elements and images the developer would like to insert into it. We have some textual content here that describes some of the technologies used within the current program, and we also have a graphic at the bottom of the screen to show some interaction with technology. This particular graphic is flashing and changing the different lights that are happening within the circuit board. That's set to randomly change. It's actually a series of 4 images, and depending on the random number that is generated depends on the image that is shown at any particular time. So this gives the appearance of the fact that certain lights may be changing states, when instead it is the whole of the image that is changing. Thank you very much for watching the demonstration of my processing application.